Hi everyone. Today I thought I'd share with you some of my thoughts on the progression of the human race, and it's going to be a bit. It's going to be casual, the conversation that I'm going to have with you guys, and it's going to be about a few things that are quite serious, and I want you to take a break, have a cup of coffee, enjoy me with a cup of coffee, and I'd like to share with you some thoughts that have been coming to my mind in terms of the current changes in the reality as we speak, the system, as I've been going on now for a few weeks about systems. And so I need to explain what I mean by systems. I feel it's important to kind of get this part out of the way so that you get an understanding, or to have an understanding of the current of how it is. This the changes that we are going through in this reality, and the ideologies that are dying off, and new ideologies that are being put into place. And I realize that, excuse me, that how certain circumstances have driven a person to come to that place where you literally feel you are a bit down. You don't know how to uh, connect with yourself. You know, clearly, if you're letting go of certain systems and beliefs, then you're going to find yourself in a place where you don't really feel you are able to, you may feel lost. And I think it's important to grasp the understanding of what particular role the system had played in the first place, or why it was put there in the first place. And so part of this information is put into the lecture, the ongoing lecture. It's going to be a very lengthy lecture in the Fountain channel, as I've said before. And so you have to just be mindful that the material that I load up will be every weekly lecture lessons on the occult, because it's an extremely big subject. It's millions of years old, if you want to put it like that. To condense it then into a form that is um, understood and noticed and taken note of. So I'm going back to the systems and why it may feel as if certain systems are quite challenging to let go of. And in the end, you'll find that the system that you have existed in, could it be a belief in certain political uh, aspects, or politicians, or certain people that you thought were uh, that you could trust, and that you had a trust that you were building with these particular people, whether it was the trust that you were building within yourself for them or towards them. And in the same way, you have the same trust that you've been building towards, let's say, an income-driven system, where you're working half in this reality and half out of the reality. You're really wanting to experience freedom in whatever way, sense of word. However, you are still sort of attached to the system. So my point to you is, remove in your thoughts the system's control over you by removing it from within you. Remove that feeling that it controls you. It is a belief of subjection that you have to revoke, that you have to literally remove from yourself. And when you remove that belief that you can't do this this or that because of this, this, and that. If you remove that out of your belief, if you stop believing that that is what you need to do, I am saying that that would be the first uh, letting go of that thing's control over you. And the same applies in relationships, for example. When you are in a relationship, or it is an abusive relationship, or the relationship is quite is something that you know that if you're not in it, you might be out in the cold, or you might have died, or if it's a life death relationship, and the relationship was formed out of that life death scenario, such as what's going on in the planet right now. That belief that if you didn't do this, then that would have happened. Belief. That feeling, that little voice that tells you, if you didn't do this, then this would have happened. You're going to need to remove the fear of not honoring that system in your mind. Because if you reason in that way, like I've just explained to you, if you reason in that way, you will essentially place yourself as a subjected or a subject of that system. So in other words, this is how you are able to relinquish control of the system in your life. I feel it's important to bring it up again because as much as the information's been going out and it's suggesting that there's a lot of people that are stepping out of the system and they're all doing this whole sovereign, sustainable, self-sustainable, sovereign thing, it's almost like it's part of its own, it's almost like it's creating its own system again. You need to remove yourself from that ideology or that belief that if you don't do this or ABC or XYZ, and you need to at least have XYZ going in the background, that if you remove the fear that if you don't do it, that you could get into trouble, that is the fear. That is the control mechanism it holds over you. It's irrespective of what it is. Okay, it's irrespective, but if fear is inside of that belief at any given point in time, it is the fear that you need to let go of, or need to make peace with, or surrender into trust, or remove from your conscious belief, or remove your childhood fears with regards to that belief of that system. Okay. And the next thing I want to bring to your attention is the current economical system or society is essentially stepping into a type of Human 2.0 program. And I'm calling it a Human 2.0 program because we are going into 2.0 terra firma. And I'll explain that a little bit more. You may think, what the hell am I saying? Well, if you've listened to all of the videos that I've made, and literally every video, and you've taken notes of it, and you've understood the process in how it was put together, you'll understand that I've also brought in a lot of information on the ancient races called the Orions or the Anunnaki. And yes, I call the Orions the Anunnaki. And yes, I am affirming that there is an extraterrestrial or extraterrestrial presence that's been going on for many centuries in this reality. And yes, I'm affirming that the extraterrestrial presence has inserted itself into this human reality, that there is almost no point of able to track them or to trace them or to see where they are and who they are, unless you're absolutely super skilled to be able to see and sense that something is off with that person or not. Now, and obviously it's very difficult to do that anyway. I'm not saying that I'm able to do it, but it is difficult to track and to recognize what is human and what is not, what is not human and what is human. That sense of needing to learn to identify the human quality may appear to be alien. I think that is your first um, thought that you should consider, that you should take note, your first instinctive thought of that person. And I'm bringing up the socio-economical as it appears to be instability, because it is only unstable if things are going right for them. And it is only stable for you if, or unstable for, it is only stable for you when things are going wrong for them, because that is how they operate. And I want you to go into the Orion stories on my channel. I want you to go through all of the material again, just briefly through it. If you don't fully follow what I'm explaining to you, or you think that I'm talking nonsense, then please find some other channel to be on. Please let go of my channel. I really do want to just have only the people that are interested in this material, as I see that there are a lot of these type of people that come and sit on the channel and don't do much about it. There's no questioning. And I'm not talking about the observers, the ones that are watching in the background. I thought that it was important to bring that up. I will need to explain a bit more. So what I'm saying to you is, go through the material of the Orion information and the root races information, and take note how it was done, because I've explained the process in how the terraforming started in the beginning. But for those of you who may not remember or may be new, everything that is discussed on this channel is a metaphysical discussion, which means every single thing that is in relation to where we are and where it is being discussed on this channel. The Promethean channel is a channel about metaphysical explanations and revealings and thoughts and so on. And I want you to be mindful of the story of how the human race came into existence. The human race came to an existence when the original beings required to bring in a new generation being to exist. And what was needed was a connection with a conglomeration of many other races. This was done in the view, in the observation of the cosmic creator or great spirit. Okay. The cosmic creator or great spirit had already existed, and the connection with that being, that connection, that energy, had already existed long before human race came into being. And those before the human races that came, that were also there. And they all came together with the blessing, as it was understood, to bring the human race into existence. All the stories that have been formulated about the experiences of the Elohim or Anunnaki, these are all Orion references. Not all is Orion references, but mostly Orion references. And there's a reason why I'm discussing that particular subject in this way. The less there is emotional focus on the subject itself, the less that draws a lot of attention. And if I keep it very casual, then there's not much that can be done right now. But I'm talking about being attacked or psychically attacked, because that does happen. And yes, I have my coffee in a flask now, because I wanted to. So, what I want to bring to your attention is when the human race came into being, there was a hierarchy that had existed before the time. And this hierarchy was the Orion kingdom. Orion kingdom. And the Orion kingdom was also a queen. So they had Orion queen, kings and queens. That is the monarchy. It already existed long before the humans came into being. The Orion race requires a monarchy to run its story, to run its life. It also requires or acquires planets, systems to fuel its existence. And it can take a long time for them to intercept the human, or to intercept the planet, to then take it over and incorporate it to become a part of the Orion empire. Okay, and they require an empire to expand. And as it is, there was a war. This is my story. The story does not come from anyone else. If there are others that have brought the same similar story, then I want you to look at everything that comes to you. I'm not saying that I'm the only one that remembers everything, but I do remember my past lives, and I do remember most of everything that I've experienced, because that is just who I am. And so I also recall the events in the timeline, so it's always in my mind. So this war broke out because of the connection that the female creation, the female being, or the Adama, or as it is known, modern version Eve, was granted the awareness to understand that she is able to become conscious. You can look at it any way you want to. You can look at it on a spiritual level. You can look at it in a metaphysical level. You can look at it in a literal level. But I was there when it took place, when she was given or made aware that she could understand that she can become conscious. And that is also depicted in the imagery of the Sumerian murals, the Mesopotamian murals, the pine cone that was held out like that, to show that that is where you will gain insight. Your pineal gland. I've spoken about all of this information before in many of my videos. I'm just encapsulating it more now because of the particular subject that I want to breach or bring in. And when she became aware, she had already then existed as a race along with her kind. And what had then come through was a few versions of the same Adama species. So what I want you to understand is that the human race had evolved through many versions of building themselves, expanding. That it was the most important thing to have a race that could populate itself and still function in a conscious level, even if the soul, which was, which became, which became something, was ignited from the cosmic creator. No entity, thing, whatever you want to call it, AI, can replicate or build a soul or a spirit. It is not possible. It never will be possible. Let it be known to everything and everyone. It is not possible. It will not happen. You can get fake copies, you can get remnants that can function in a virtual reality, and that is all you can find. You cannot build a soul. You do not understand what it means to, you do not understand what a soul can do, or a spirit. And when I say soul, I'm speaking about the consciousness that guides you in this world. When I speak of your spirit, I'm speaking about your eternal, infinite essence of who you are. You are not nothing when you die. You return back into the cosmic creator's womb. That is your path back, unless you choose to hang around and be a discarnated soul. Needless to say, it was very important for the Orions to terraform a planet that could become a substance of growth. Original name that I recall this planet to have been was called Urta, which I later learned just now, a few months ago, that it means a particular language where it means that it's everything that's put together or leftovers put together. So in other words, it becomes its own sustainable experience, or as it is also explained as the Goldilocks planet. And it means that that is where there is, the planet is the most, it is a planet that has all the amazing things to formulate life. And so I want you to walk with me to understand that when the human race then was placed upon the planet, the stories about that Zachariah Sitchin wrote on the Anunnaki is not entirely correct. Actually, it is not correct. The information that I have and that I've found in other sources and from other people that are that have got the history of their work in the open public forums, I would refer to those people, those scholars that are interpreting language. One such person is called Mauro Biglino. I'll put a link to his name down as well so that you can understand that this man, his interpretations of the works, of everything that he has been discussing, it walks very strongly hand in hand with my memory, with my knowledge on how things have happened. It is almost as if that man had interpreted the correct way and had found it in numerous sources. He did translate some Bibles into literal translations. So it's important that you read everything up about this man if you are interested to know about him. And so I will put his link at the bottom for you to explore. I have also mentioned to you that what was the most prevalent or the most important substance on this planet at the time when the first set of human species were put down here was gold. And what was it that was required from gold? They could reform it into monatomic gold. Let it be known that monatomic gold is something that is quite profoundly related to alchemy as well. And that if it's in a refined state, that it gives the being growth and longevity and many things that could be built out of monatomic gold. And so now we find ourselves yet again, or the human race finds itself yet again in a position where gold is now a focal point. All the precious metals are now a focal point. It is as if they are driving the human race to become aware of where they came from by bringing in the gold thing. I'm saying it like that because the way that it was used back in the day when your forefathers, great forefathers, were trying to free themselves, but were also slaves to the Orion Empire, that the same thing is taking place right now. Except there are a lot of people or beings that would like to ascertain the value of gold as the second, the second reformation or terraformation of this realm. In other words, let me explain. If gold was the most important thing to mine for when the humans were put here in the first place, gold is now going to be, again, the most important thing to be focused on. And I'm not a financial advisor, so please don't take what I say as stock at all, please, because I don't know myself. I'm going with the metaphysical explanation in the background of what I know, what I'm seeing, and what I'm sharing with you. And so the focus is again on bringing in that thing, that metal, so that it becomes the mind metal yet again for the second time of the human existence. Because after the first mining took place, there had then been much of souls or beings or people or humans that wanted to free themselves from the slavery. Human race have been trying to free itself from slavery since its very inception. You may ask, why did the cosmic creator allow this? And my answer to you is, it wasn't allowed by the cosmic creator. The human consciousness chose and had become subjected to beliefs. And the lecture on the channel of the Fountain explains why the human race had lent itself to become subjected to the beliefs of actually agreeing to be subjected to terraforming and slavery. These are all contracts, and you'll understand if you go to that channel. I'm not punting it, I'm telling you that's the information is there. The other information is on this channel, on the Promethean channel. So you see, I have two channels. One is pertinently clear, concise information that gives you exactly what it is, and this channel speaks about everything in a multidimensional metaphysical channel manner. The work is too much to put onto this channel. It is just too much to do. It'll confuse you because I will still be continuing with the Promethean as I usually do. And so I want to bring to your focus that the metal is now the focus, to remind you that what human type of existence there will be now will be a second one, a second version. And that could very well be because of all of the foreign substances that are inoculated into the body. And the agreements to actually allow the foreign substance to be in the body, that it's going to be the next best saving thing. And that is why I'm saying to you, the human 2.0 is the second version of the the human race, where it has now relinquished itself. Not all. This is not for everyone. This is not to everyone. It's not about everyone. It's about some humans have agreed to become the Human 2.0 project program. And the economical point in regarding the new metal or the precious metals is the element that tells you so, that it is this is the second time that humans are going to mine for gold. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. And it is the second type of, it's a different type of human that will do that now. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. And that you need to understand that basically the same type of experiences or the same type of scenarios could play itself out. Hence why there is so much in the alternate communities, which I used to think was a type of, what I used to think of people in the alternate communities, that they would understand and they would speak some sort of truth, but I actually don't think so anymore. I think there's such a drive to want to become the next Jesus or the next superhero or the next whatever, that it's just such a race between everyone. And so you should know me by now, that I just stand back and observe all of this, but I give you what I see. I always do, and that is what it is. And so my point to you is, as you see, I'm bringing it all together, and I won't be talking all day. But as you see, there are going to be some archetypes that will surface or resurface into the system. I will be addressing these archetypes. I will refer to them as contracts, and we will discuss these old archetypal contracts once more. Some of them will be brand new. And these are going to be archetypes that are related to, or gods, as they prefer themselves to be, the Orions. It's going to be about them. And for those of you who know me, you know that when we talk about the information on this channel, that the information becomes resolved and dissolved in a simplified manner. This is an alchemical channel, and the power of the connection between myself and you is sacred, and it is within the presence of Great Spirit, whether you are aware of it or not. So, prepare yourselves for the next few weeks, and I can do as much as I can, but there will be material coming up about the archetypes that will come in. The information will be about the current Human 2.0 conditioning, like you don't know what it is, but you do. So when I bring it up, you'll understand what I'm saying. And I want you to take time to focus on love, on things that are kind within yourself, or things that are loving for you. I would like to ask you to focus on a question about, as I've been questioning the other people on my other channels, on other groups, I've been asking a series of questions that need to be understood. If you're on my Signal group and you're not part of the communication, please do so. Otherwise, please get off the group. I'm not chasing you away. I just don't want the energy to be dead. I would like to have it alive, just like you're expecting me to give you living information. I would ask of you the same in reciprocation as well. So I would like to bring to your focus, if you feel inside of yourself, do you feel where you are right now? Do you feel safe enough to be able to pass on? Do you feel safe enough to be able to pass on? Your questions, your answers, you can post in the chat section, in the comment section. I would advise you to please do that rather than to send me private messages or emails. So I'm leaving that with you. Think on it. It's not a sobering, scary thought. It's not at all. Just think on every day, asking yourself, is it safe for me to pass away right now, here where I am, in terms of my place where I stay, where I am in terms of my state of thoughts, where I am in terms of my physical place? Am I safe? Do I feel safe to be able to do that? If I'm not, if you are not feeling safe to pass, then you need work. You need to work on it. You need to be able to work on the understanding that you are able to do something about your existence. And the way you can work on your inner sanctum is by exploring all the videos once more. Because I have many people that ask me questions when they say they've watched all my videos, they shouldn't be asking me all those questions again. So go back, watch it again, let the video speak to you, tell you what it is. Because every video that I make, I stop, I connect, call it a prayer. I pray before I communicate anything to you, because I don't want the words to be tracked by anything that is polluting your conscious mind at all. So I take the time to give you that information, and then I would ask of you to please take the time and respect yourself enough to do the same. So I've given a lot of things here for us to think about, and you will see me again. I am going to bring up a few amazing nuggets of information, nuggets of gold that we're going to be discussing. And I will still continue with the lecture. The lecture is not close to end. It's not even in the middle yet. We're only just begun now. So if you're interested in understanding and working on yourself and wanting to prepare your conscious thoughts for a place where you feel you are, if you want to work on your inner sanctum, if you want to work in your temple, you want to build up your temple of consciousness, your spirit, your soul, please feel welcome here. And if you find that this work has helped you in any way, then please donate. Thank you for your support. Much love. Till next time.